can be our acolyte.
But first, boy, it's time to bow. Or it's your own grave you'll dig, or you're playing with the big boy. Playing with the big boy. Playing with the big boy. Playing with the...
Snake, are you okay? Snake? Snake!
The Prince of Egypt, Dreamworks' second film, and their first traditionally animated film. This single piece of Christian media is a legend. Everything in this film comes together beautifully. The score, the animation, the inspired story from the Bible, it all works so incredibly well. Now, I'm sure everyone who's watching this video has seen this movie, but in case you haven't somehow, I will quickly recap the story for you. So the story of the Prince of Egypt is largely based, well, really pretty much directly taken from the book of Exodus and the Moses story in the Christian Bible. Moses is a Hebrew, and his family sent him in a basket in a river to escape persecution by the Egyptians. And as luck would have it, he was found by the Egyptian queen and taken in as one of their own. Moses grew up alongside the Egyptian royal family, but then later found out that he was, in fact, a Hebrew. And he found out that his father had killed all of the Hebrew little boys. You can see this horrible event in this imagery. Once Moses discovered this fact, he left Egypt and became a wanderer in the desert until he happened to stumble upon a little village where he changed his ways and became a shepherd. Moses then saw a vision of God taking the form of a burning bush. God told Moses that he needed to free his people from the clutches of Egypt and bring them to the promised land. He needed to deliver them. Moses then goes back to Egypt and finds Ramesses, his brother, is now the Pharaoh. And while they are still brothers, they are now enemies, as Ramesses will not let Moses' people go. But Moses has no choice, and he uses God's power to bring 10 plagues to Egypt. And the 10th plague kills Ramesses' own son. Stricken with grief, Ramesses lets his people go. And some more conflict ensues in some beautifully animated scenes that are actually true to the original Bible story. And the movie ends with Moses on top of Mount Sinai with the 10 Commandments. This story is directly taken from the book of Exodus in the Christian Bible. And how can you even discuss a story like this? I mean, you know, it's a story that has been one of the oldest stories in time immemorial. So it's really hard to judge a story like this. I mean, you know, I'm not intending for this video to be too religious or political or anything, but I am a man of Christian faith, and this is one of the most interesting stories in the Bible, if not the most interesting. So I'm really glad they chose this story to bring to life through traditional animation. And not just the story, but the art direction for this film is also gorgeous. I mean, who could forget the parting of the sea scene towards the end of the movie? In addition to the scenery, the characters all looked distinctly different. The animation style kind of reminds me of Primal. For those of you who have watched my Primal videos or have seen Primal in general, you know that the art direction takes a style of jagged edges, not many smooth curves, and kind of harsh lighting. This film is a bit like that, except the lighting is a lot softer, and there are jagged edges, sure, especially when you look at the character designs, but there are some smoothed out things, and it just looks generally really appealing. This movie would not have worked if it looked like Ants did. I mean, I'm just going to get that right out the gate. I don't think anyone is against that point, really. The fact that this film is traditionally animated, really, it provides the right feel for the old story that's as old as time, and it's a great decision by Dreamworks. Along with the animation comes the score for the film, and the score for this film is absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, Deliver Us is such a heavenly chord.
Hush now, my baby, be still, love, don't cry. Sleep as you're rocked by the stream.
And even the worst song in this movie, Playing with the Big Boys Now, even that worst song is still really, really catchy and really sets the tone for the bulk of the film that you're watching.
You're playing with the big boys now.
Playing with the big boys now.
Oh, that's
Nice.
every spell and gesture tells you who's the best. You're playing with the big boys now.
And not just the fact that this movie is a musical, the instrumentals all really give you that kind of Egypt, Israel, Christian music feel. And it's a great rendition of those old songs, and it's such a great art direction. It's such a great musical direction for the film to take. Of course, the music was composed by Hans Zimmer himself, and you can really tell. Now the writing and voice acting. The writing is surprisingly simple. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? It's a simple story, comes from the Bible. It's kind of what you would expect from a movie like this, but they do throw in a couple really great jokes, and you know, they build the character relationship of Ramesses and Moses, and that was an important thing to do, and the writing really connects them as brothers. And the voice acting for Ramesses and Moses too, amazing.
Let my people go!
Still gnawing away at that bone, are we? Carry on.
I mean, they're pitch perfect. The voice of Moses is kind of calm. Well, it can be a lighthearted voice, upbeat towards the beginning. And Ramesses, you know, he's a little bit more reserved and a bit more, you know, like trying to be respectful to his father, I guess. And towards the second half of the movie, their characters are grown up and they've changed. You can tell Moses has changed because it's the same uplifting voice, but now it's like calm and almost never raises his voice. And Ramesses now is always yelling, and his voice really kind of brings out the anger in Moses' brother. And these were two great castings. Now this is the part of the video where I talk about the genius filmmaking that a movie has. Now I believe that all movies have something positive you can find in it, even the worst ones. In this movie, it is not hard to find great stuff about the filmmaking. Now the one thing that I chose to represent in this film, in this video, is the respect to the original source material. Now, Christian media has not had the best track record when it comes to, you know, staying true to the source material and getting the right message across. And that's why there's not a lot of mainstream Christian media outside of VeggieTales and The Prince of Egypt. But The Prince of Egypt, it starts the movie with a sort of like, you know, prelude and explaining where the story can be found in the Bible, and that there some were artistic and historical liberties taken, but that they did their best to adhere to the actual story as it was written in the Bible. Dreamworks, you know, after making Ants, you kind of think like, oh, they're just kind of like a goofy studio, you know, not like Pixar, not like a sophisticated and fancy movie studio like Pixar or Disney animation studios would be. But no, I mean, in their second outing, DreamWorks makes one of the most respectful, serious dramas about, you know, a biblical story, and made one of the most mainstream Christian medias ever. I mean, you know, you've heard it from people who have watched this movie. People who are pagan and atheist love this movie, regardless of its, you know, obviously heavy religious themes, just because of the story and the way they present it. You don't have to be a Christian to love this movie because it stands on its own. It brings enough to the table that didn't come directly from the Bible, like its art direction and its score, that it's enjoyable for anyone, and that's hard for a film to achieve. Some films just apply to niche audiences. I'm looking at you, Illumination, but I mean, The Prince of Egypt, it's a story that is timeless, and the movie will never be old to me. I mean, I'm just gonna come right out and say it, you know what? The Catholic Church, you know, again, I don't want to get religious on this channel or this video, but the Catholic Church, I think they should invest in more projects like this. And that might sound like a crazy 180 for them, but, I mean, I'm serious. I'm a Christian, and I'd say that the Prince of Egypt makes up about 60% of my Christian education and faith at this point. I mean, it forms a huge base for, you know, understanding religion and the time period that our faith is set in. And I really think that if we get, I mean, imagine if we had 10 movies of the same quality as this, presenting stories in the Bible. I think we'd have a lot better Christian education. I'm just saying. So, Catholic Church, if you're watching, yeah, get on this shit, dude, because it's amazing. So basically, The Prince of Egypt is the best Dreamworks movie ever made, and probably that will ever be made, unfortunately. But it's such a good movie. The score, the animation, obviously the story isn't like an original one by the Dreamworks team, but they brought it out of the Bible so beautifully. I mean, watching some of the scenes in this movie genuinely make me cry. I'm not even kidding, that happens. This movie is the only movie that I'm gonna rate 10 out of 10 at this point. I almost never give movies perfect scores, but I can't think of a single thing this movie does wrong. I am serious about that. And you know what? Let me know down in the comments if you feel differently, you know? Maybe you don't like this movie, maybe you love it, maybe you even like it more than I do, but just going back and rewatching it over the past couple days, the past few times that I've seen it, it's such a beautiful film, and it's gonna stand the test of time, I'm telling you. It's a great film that you should not forget, and something that Dreamworks should go back to, because obviously, if they could do it once, they could do it again. That's all for this video, guys. Subscribe for more movie reviews like this, and thanks for watching.